On a Saturday morning in Los Angeles in 1991, a little black girl was accused of stealing orange juice from a Korean American owned liquor store in South Central. On her way out of the store, she was shot in the back of the head by the store owner. It took months for the court proceedings related to the murder to finally end, but when everything was said and done, the store owner was let off with a few years of probation and a couple hundred hours of community service. The ruling was highly publicized and came out a week after the release of the Rodney King footage. Many people in the Los Angeles community believed the timing of these events is what caused so many Korean American owned businesses in Los Angeles to have been looted and burned down during the Los Angeles riots of 1992. I titled this poem Koreatown 1991 and based it off of some imagery that I remembered when I took a recent trip to Koreatown, Los Angeles. The setting of the poem is at the house of the store owner who had just recently murdered Letitia Harlins. I hope it depicts the inner turmoil that the store owner had and how the contrast of committing sin and wrongs against other human beings, especially to the point of murder, and what those repercussions are, how that can contrast with the bright sun and drought conditions and palm trees and otherwise unassuming setting of the rest of society, especially in Los Angeles when it's always sunny and hardly ever rains. I also hope to communicate in the poem a sense of unpredictable vulnerability and calm that might have existed in the Koreatown streets in the months prior to the LA riots. Hope you enjoy it. One last detail, the liquor store was owned by a Korean American husband and wife. At the time of the murder, the husband was sleeping in the family car behind the store when the wife murdered Letitia Harlins. So because of that, the poem is depicted from the perspective of the husband, whose conscience isn't nearly as seared as the wife's, since the wife had been the one who murdered Letitia Harlins. So this is from the perspective of the husband. Never mind the windowless gaps. The porch is screened in by metal sheets. The hesitant thief and the wandering priest are out pacing the palm tree-clad streets, searching for a beer to drink and a meal to eat. Our unobstructed view, the drought-tanned hills and the space between covered in dust driven in by a far-flung wind, appear enhanced by the big red sun, yet 3/4 high. Enough time left in the day to recognize consequence of sin and pretend in anxiety, like you don't care again.